Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of The I World. I am your host, Brittany, and I'm here with
Talia.
But before we start the episode, we're going to do some ins and outs of the week.
Not even the week, just what's
right
been
now
in your life. Like, what's hot? What are you loving? I don't even know what's an out for me. So, actually, no, I do know what's an out. I do have some outs.
So, do you want to go first with your ins?
You know what? I will, actually. So, my first one for ins is going to be ice rolling my face in the morning. So I knew I can't with the mascots. They're a little too much.
Go away, mascot.
So yeah, my first one's going to be ice rolling. I had seen everyone doing this and I just feel like it's not even like doing that much for me. Like maybe it's waking me up. It's not depuffing my face like everyone claims it's depuffing theirs. But I just got one on Amazon. I don't know if there's like a hype behind the Skinny Confidential one that makes it $80 for an ice roller, but I couldn't hop on that bandwagon. So mine's from Amazon, and it's, I think, the same fucking thing, but for way cheaper. Another one for me, I haven't been super consistent with it, but I did it a couple times, is tongue scraping.
Okay.
Not the dirty look.
No!
It's just like, I think supposed to just like get any extra...
I should do that.
Bad stuff off of your tongue.
Yeah.
Because I think like it's like a lot of bacteria on your tongue. Like I clean my tongue when I brush my teeth no matter what. Like I scrape my tongue. But this is like a metal thing that like actually takes like all of it off. I like put a little question box on my story a couple days ago and asked people like what are their wellness like little things that they've been loving. So those were two things that people recommended and I introduced and I'm really loving it. I'm trying to think what else. Then taking my vitamins. I really had been off taking my vitamins for a while, and I'm finally getting back into the routine of that.
What vitamins do you take?
I take colostrum, but I hadn't been taking it because it's just a chore on the fact that like it tastes like cat's milk. Like it's just, imagine like you're mixing this up and you have to drink it, and it just seems like if you've ever like fostered kittens, which like I don't know if you have actually, and you have to like bottle feed them, you have to like make that formula. That's what it feels like drinking colostrum. Like I was just like it was giving me the ick. That, and then I was taking my Immunologic from MD Logic because I started feeling sick. I woke up with like a scratchy throat, and then I just bammed it. Took like 100 vitamins, and now I'm just like a little stuffy, but that's it. So like no sore throat, no cough or anything like that. I don't know what this vitamin does. It's called Methyl Complete, but I think it has to do with your B's.
Yeah.
Okay, that. Then I'm also taking a vitamin D. I want to say that's it for my vitamins. And sometimes I'll have like a gummy vitamin that's like elderberry, like immune support, but I don't know if it's like a scam or if it's real.
All of my vitamins are gummies for the most part.
How do you know? Like I don't even know.
Hi, Dad. That never happens.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he was saying gummy vitamins are real. What vitamins do you take?
I take a sugar bear hair vitamin. I take 2 Go-Go gummies, which are like a prebiotic gummy, and they work for sure. 1,000%.
What makes you say?
It makes you like more regular with going to the bathroom. I take, and I really like how they taste also. I take 2 apple cider vinegar gummies, love. And then I recently started taking 2 of the Lemmy vitamins, like the Kourtney Kardashian ones, but those may be a scam. First of all, I don't like how they taste, and second of all, I feel no different. I was taking the Lemmy Chill.
Which is?
I think it's just supposed to like
melatonin?
I don't think it's a melatonin. I think it's supposed to just like let you chill, like
anxiety.
Yeah, like kind of like calm you down and like decompress at the end of the day. The other one I was taking was the Lemmy Purr, which is like supposed to be it's supposed to be like the vaginal prebiotic or probiotic, but I don't like take anything like that.
I think everything that's made for like vaginal health is a scam.
Yeah.
It's literally a scam. Your body regulates itself.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing anything else. All of those like
I actually
wipes
agree.
that they make, all of like those, the whole aisle that you go when you like buy tampons, that whole aisle, anything but a tampon or a pad is a scam. You don't need it.
I actually agree because I feel like nothing was wrong with me, and then I started taking it, and then I was like, I don't feel like normal, like, so I don't really like those. So I don't think I'll purchase those again.
Yeah.
But the other 3, the Go-Go gummies, the apple cider vinegar, and the sugar bear hair vitamins are all repeat offenders. So I love those. And I do also have the Methyl B, like I don't know, is the one you take, like, do you suck on it?
No.
Okay, that's what mine is. I like it, though.
Mine, all of the vitamins I take, pretty much, I feel, not all of them, most of them taste bad.
Yeah, I hate that.
Like, it's literally the worst, especially if you burp and you taste it. Like, the Immunologic one is like a garlic. It has garlic in it, which is, like, really good if you're sick. But it tastes rancid. The other one that I opened up, Al said smells like a hamster or, like, a gerbil's, like, what's it called? Like, cage?
Like habitat.
Yeah.
Wait, speaking of, the other day, Tyler was like, where do hamsters live? Like, in the wild. And I was
like a wild
I
pig?
looked it up. They live in, like, grasslands.
Like, what are those things, like Timon from...
Yeah.
Is it like that kind of vibe?
Maybe.
The same family, like meerkats?
I don't know. But I thought that was interesting because, like, you never think about that. Like, do you ever just see a hamster running in the street? No.
No, they're so small. How do they... I mean...
And why do we think hamsters are cute, and why do we think mice are scary?
No,
and, like, rats
hamsters
are scary?
aren't cute, that's why.
Oh.
They're not.
You never held one?
I think they're gross. I knew one that had a tooth that was growing out.
No.
Yeah, and that ruined it for me.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's finish your ins.
One more in. And then there's so many ins right now, but for my in, my last one is tea. Tea at nighttime, like when I come home, that's like my let me chill. It's like my decompress. I've been having different types of tea. I've been having sometimes like an elderberry one, and I would do like, what was that? Why am I in Spanish accent? I would do elderberry and then like a lemon ginger one, and then in my honey, this is the kicker. It starts with an M.
Melatonin.
No, not melatonin. That's what I'm trying. Like that's what's coming to my brain, interfering the receptor. Magnesium. That's what I've been putting in it because it's really supposed to help with your sleep. So I've been putting magnesium in with the tea, and it just feels like I'm just like in a movie, sort of like just like decompressing, winding down, and mouth taping. But I don't know how I feel about it yet. I feel like it's too soon to speak on, but I don't think that it's. I don't know if none of the other people that mouth tape use skincare or if they don't, but it doesn't stick to my face if I have oil, or which makes sense. But if I have like oil on my face, it just comes right off, and it comes off. It comes off Al in the middle of the night with air quotes because I think he takes it off.
Oh.
But yeah, he tried it with like his mustache. It's kind of weird. Like it doesn't really like stay.
Interesting.
So those are going to be my ins.
Okay.
Which I feel like are all like hot topics.
Yeah. Any outs or?
Oh. I feel like should we go ins,
okay.
and then double outs?
Sure.
Because my outs kind of takes a different.
Okay, well, my ins, my first in is the Alpha Brain supplement.
Oh my God, that's a scam, Brittany.
No, it's not.
She literally comes and she's like, wait, what the fuck did you say? Like, I took this Alpha Brain. What did you say to me? And I was like,
I don't know.
Alpha Brain?
No, it's really good. I actually like want to take it right now because it does help you stay focused. And I love my energy sticks. Like, these are always an in, they're not a new in, but I just feel like it keeps me more productive. So the Alpha Brain supplement is my first in. I just feel like if you like need to focus and like if you have a task to do, like this gives you energy and these are amazing. But focus, it does help with focus, but the Alpha Brain, you're lasered into what you have to do. It's like taking like ADD.
Taking ADD.
taking like ADD medication.
Where did you hear about Alpha Brain?
I think it was like an ad on a podcast.
And you just like trusted the process. And you just like
I actually bought them for Tyler and then for my brother Tyler for Christmas last year. And then like he just like never really used them and then they were in there.
Was this the Joe Rogan one?
Yeah, I think it was on his podcast.
Okay, then I guess I would kind of trust that. It's not like random. He does like talk about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're his or if he was just talking about them. Yeah. They might be his. So that's my first in.
Okay.
My second in is pajamas.
Okay.
I'm new to the pajama world.
Not just pajamas, you're saying sets.
Yeah, pajama sets like
cute PJs.
Yes, cute, Skims, button down, Christmas, but like buttery soft or just like the flannel pajamas. I never was a pajama wearer. I usually would like come home, get undressed, take a shower, and then I'll put like a big t-shirt on. But there's something about like wearing the pajama sets. It's like romanticizing your nighttime routine.
That's like the tea. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's a paid actor.
Yeah. And and they're also so comfortable. And I never was like comfortable sleeping in like pajamas. I mean, I used to be, but then I wasn't. Like when you don't for so long, it's like hard to sleep with clothes on. But it was so cold in my house because my heat wasn't working. I just got it fixed the other day upstairs. And I was so cold that I like needed to wear clothes. So that's where I was prompted to put pajamas on. And I was wearing like sweatpants, sweatshirts, but like it wasn't the same as when I got the pajamas. And now I'm 2 nights into wearing pajama sets, and I love, and I think I'll never go back. And I just love them so much. Yeah. So that's like a big in for me. I'm trying to think of what else is an in for me. Haircut. I did just get a haircut.
For the first time in?
For the first time in a year and a half. So this is the haircut. I feel like the face framing, very in right now. And I feel like that's really what I needed. I was like missing
dimension.
Yeah. So.
Because Brittany glazes her hair to be like dark. So I feel like when you have your hair so dark, like you need the cut to give you dimension, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there is really no dimension. I mean, it's more so.
No, it looks so good.
Thank you. So yeah, that's, I would say, my third in. And hats. Hats are an in for me. Yeah, I'm getting into the hat thing. You know, there's something I've realized that like there were certain things I was a little insecure to rock. Like before I lost weight, I really used my hair as like
your accessory.
Yeah, like it was really like my way of being confident. I like wouldn't be comfortable like pushing my hair back because I just didn't really like how my face looked.
Slick back braid.
Yeah, the slick back braid is a huge in for me right now. I've really been rocking the slick back braid. And like something like that, like I never really liked to wear my hair back off of my face. And now the slick back braid, I haven't done one since I've gotten the haircut, but before I got the haircut, it was something I was doing regularly. I think I'll continue to. Oh, and how can I forget the biggest in, the hot yoga. We went back to hot yoga, and I bought a 10-class card, and I had 3 that had expired, but they were nice enough to roll them into my new membership card. So I have 13 classes on my card, well, 12 left now, and they expire in 6 months, but they did let me kind of refresh the ones that expired, but like I really want to get them done in the 6 months or less.
You will in less.
I was doing really good last year around this time. I think because like when it's dark and gloomy like this, it's so hard for me to like get out of bed, get out of the house. I just want to like sit in my bed all day or sit on this couch. And when you sign up for the hot yoga classes, you have to sign up for them in advance. And it's kind of like, I bought it, so like I'm not going to waste it. So it makes me go.
It like sets your future self up for success because like you can't, like if you're backing out, you're basically flushing, it's like $40 down the toilet.
It's like if you have a gym membership and you're like, I'll just go tomorrow. With the class, you're signed up for a class, so you have to go. And if you don't sign up, you wait till the morning of, the class might be full. So if you want to go, you're risking not being able to go. And once you're there in the hot yoga room, like this is why I like hot yoga, not just going to a regular yoga class.
I don't like regular yoga. I don't feel like I can move in regular yoga.
Interesting.
Like, I feel like...
More stiff.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, in the hot yoga room, too, I think there's just something about, like, this, you're sweating, and it's so warm, and it almost feels like you're, like, in, like, the summer. Yeah. And then when you get out, you're so hot. I mean, we were, like, blacking out in the class we went to. And then when you walk out, it's, like, refreshing. It's probably, like, similar to, like, what a cold plunge feels like. It's, like, a shock to the system.
Well... Not to cut you off, but there is like science behind it with like heat shock proteins and stuff like that come into play when you're basically in a sauna. You're basically doing yoga in a sauna. So you're getting those like heat shock proteins for your body.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's just a huge in right now. Yeah. I think like it's not something I necessarily want to do, but I want to do it for myself. I'm really trying to like lean into healthier habits.
She's in her wellness girl era.
Yeah, I am for the first time, like, in my life. So, yeah, so those are my ins.
To dive into some outs, this is a controversial out because I was like, oh, I'm in. And then I was like, oh, this is like in, but read the fine print.
Okay.
So I was scrolling on social media, and I saw a lot of stuff from this guy, Dr. Paul something. Yes. So I forget his last name, and he's not the out. I think he's really great, and he's doing a great job at educating a lot of people on things that are just like they're being more spoken about. But when it comes into like food and like healthy foods and everything that you're eating, it could be like it can feel like there's nothing I could do right because like for instance, I sent Al. This is completely separate, but I sent Al TikTok I saw that was about like hang drying your clothes, that it's like it's bad to hang dry your clothes inside your house because it creates mold. And he's like, we can't do anything right. Like, are you serious? Like, so what do you want me to do with the clothes that I can't put in the dryer?
Right.
So it's kind of giving that vibe. It's like everything is not right. Okay.
It's like when I used to be like not healthy at all, and then I would like choose to get a Caesar salad, and then some people in our family would be like, that's the worst kind of salad you could get. And it's like, okay, well, it was either fucking Caesar salad or like mac and cheese. Like, which one do you want me to do? Like, I'm at least going into a healthier realm. I'm getting used to eating salad. It's like I literally felt the same way. I'm like, I cannot do anything right. I'm trying to be healthier, but it's not the right amount of healthier for you.
Yes, but nothing is right. It's like seed oils are bad. Okay, so I can't. So I'm reading the ingredients and seeing if it has sunflower oil or safflower oil or canola oil. Those are all bad. I'm like, okay, so limit oils. And then it's like, okay, you know, this milk is bad because of the spike in, like, oat milk is bad because of the spike in your, what's the word, that cortisol. And, you know, this milk, whole milk is bad because it has all these hormones, and almond milk is bad because it's just like, so it's like, what milk do you want me to have with my coffee then?
Right.
What milk? So then I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to buy this A2 milk that was recommended. Our mom is like the ultimate crunchy mom. She approved of it. She's like, this is a good milk. I'm like, okay, awesome.
What is it? Like, what's
it's
A2?
Like
is it from a cow?
Yes, it's from a cow, but it like doesn't.
I think I've had that before, and I think it like never expires.
it doesn't have certain like hormones in it or something, or like it doesn't have. No, I'm not saying this right. I don't know what it is. I just know that it is healthier because it is like more pure, I believe.
Okay.
Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna drink this, and because we've been so busy over the past couple months, something I kind of neglected was like my eating habits, and it was just kind of hard for me to like eat well because I was honestly so burnt out and so tired that like I didn't want to cook. And then like I just like fell down this rabbit hole of like not only just eating out but just like making poor decisions with what I was eating because I had been making poor decisions. So it's kind of hard to like get out of that rut. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm cold turkey jumping into this. I'm going to be making like better choices. And like, I'm really going to try to educate myself a little bit more on everything. So through all this doctor talks a lot about like the carnivore diet and like eating like more, I don't even know about the whole vegetable thing. Like, this is controversial. But anyways, back to the milk part of this.
Wait, what's controversial about vegetables?
He basically says like vegetables aren't good for you because
it's giving like I want to go viral. How are vegetables not good for you?
Because he's saying that like vegetables in the wild, I hope that I'm saying this right and I'm not going to be canceled for being stupid, but vegetables like in the wild have like a defense mechanism because they don't want to be eaten. Kind of like a Venus flytrap vibes.
What is it? The defense
like
mechanism?
Basically like they don't want to be eaten, so they like release something when you eat them.
Okay.
But like I don't know what's true
vegetables
anymore.
Or like fucking deep fried like hot dog,
like,
corn
that's
dogs.
Bad too. So it's like I was like, so what do you want me to eat? He's like, okay, so basically he wants you to eat steak. You can eat any meat that you want, but he is a big fan of like red meat because it's like more satiating, I guess, and it, you know, whatever his reason is, right? Eggs are good, fruits are good, honey is good, and whatever. So it's like less processed, right? So I'm like, okay, I can do this. And then I'm like getting back on track. Now I'm doing this for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, why do I feel like I'm literally, I wasn't gaining weight, but I was like, I'm not losing any weight. I feel like not, like when I wake up in the morning, I feel like kind of bloated. Like I'm not feeling like that morning skinny, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm doing all the right things that you're telling me to do, Doc. Like, what do you want me to do? And so then Al's like telling me like, yeah, like.
Does Al eat this also?
No. Like, yes, but no. He's not like a big vegetable guy by any means, but he was eating like steak and stuff like that and the eggs and stuff, but like also he's a larger human being than me. So like he maybe needs to eat more food like this than maybe I do. Okay. You know, like what's required for me and my calorie. So that's the big, this is a long out, but that's what it really came down to, is like I was eating all of the right things, but I have to remember that like if you want to lose weight, like you still have to be in a calorie deficit. So like my calories in versus my calories out.
Or you have to be in the Manji effect.
Yes, or you have to be mangified. So like my calories in versus my calories out still needed to like be a fucking thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't looking at calories because like I really don't like to like be focused on that stuff. Low key like jujitsu and like competing and like weight being a thing that you have to think about, like kind of like destroyed my perception of like, you know, like calories and stuff like that, instead of just looking at food, like food as fuel. So I'm drinking this milk, back to the milk, and I was like, yeah, like, you know, it may be a good milk, but like it's 173 calories for a cup of it. And I'm like, my other milk that I was getting from Trader Joe's was like a cashew milk blend with I think like almonds, and it was 30 calories for a cup. So it's like, yeah, that's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know? And like eggs versus egg whites, like I can have a lot more egg whites than I can eggs, and it's like way more you know, just like even if I'm eating healthy, there's a difference between like being healthy and being like lean and fit. And it's like even if you're eating really healthy, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be like skinny.
I wonder if this is like part of the reason why I struggled with losing weight, because like I would eat kind of like a keto diet, which only like works for so long anyway on your body, but like it was more, I never ate like in a calorie deficit like intentionally. Like I always was like, okay, I'm just gonna eat healthier. So
because that's kind of not in a good way. That's what we grew up around.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that your parents should be teaching you about a calorie deficit. That's like toxic.
Yeah.
So it was just eat clean, eat healthy.
Yeah.
You know.
But maybe that's why I never really like was able to lose weight, because I would always look to like my parents for advice on this, and I never really looked elsewhere, and that was always what we were taught, which isn't like Talia said, like it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But like I would say, like for me, eating healthy would be like eating eggs and turkey bacon and then like an avocado and
Which,
like
an avocado was like over 200 calories.
Yeah.
So I was eating an avocado. I'm like, okay, Dr. Paul said that I can have avocado with my steak, and this is like very calorically dense meal that I'm eating right now, and if I'm not exerting as much energy, then like this isn't gonna work. So basically, long story short, I felt like I was stuck, and then I was like, just like, why am I like not? And then also Al was like, you don't like digest, I think, red meat as fast or something like that. Like I think it sits in your body a little longer. So I think it was just like, it wasn't working for me. I'm still taking from it bits and pieces that I liked. Like I still want to be more animal based. Like I still want to be eating like less processed foods.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like put myself in this box of like a certain type of diet where then I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like it can just fuck with your head.
Yeah, I think this is also part of our like personality, like our family. Like I feel like we can become kind of obsessive about like certain things, and you kind of go like all in on one thing, and it's just like the way you were talking about it reminded me like of how I've been about things too in the past. Okay, well, is that your only out?
Pretty much.
I really only had one out I could think of as well. Well, I have two outs. My first out is going to like holiday events that you feel obligated to go to.
'Tis the season. Too,
Yeah, that's out, I think. Like, I kind of decided this year, like, I'm just going to go to things that feel right for me. I'm not going to go to things because I feel like I have to. And kind of hand in hand with that, not just holiday events, but in general, like giving energy to people and things that are not like benefiting me. Like if it's just taking from my soul and like I'm doing it because I feel I have to, or because how are they going to think of me if I don't show up for that person this way, like that is like an out right now for me, kind of because like mentally I have to. Like it's
like
almost
an energy drainer for
yes
you.
I've been like spending a lot more time alone, and on one hand it's like a little bit lonely because I am somebody who in the past has always like just, I'm always calling someone. I'm always on the phone with people. I'm always like making plans to like see friends and things like that. But I'm kind of just leaning into like, I'm just doing things if I want to do them. And if I don't want to do them, I'm just saying no or not answering, which maybe is not the best thing, but it's just like the season I'm in right now. So I think what's out for me is just like doing things because I feel obligated to. Like, is what I'm doing right now like serving Brittany? Like, is this helping Brittany? And if it's not, like, I just feel like I've been a person who always puts other people's feelings, and I still struggle with this, but, like, I always put other people's feelings and wants and needs and, like, what are they going to think if I say no to this before what feels good for me, even if it puts me at a disadvantage. And I just feel like I'm trying to exercise, like, having healthy boundaries. So that is, like...
I think that's a great way to think of it, as exercising it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to practice it for it to become, like, normalcy for you.
As a kid, I always felt like if I wasn't invited to something or whatever, like I would feel very left out. For some reason, I've always had this thing of like feeling left out, even like at family events and stuff. Like I always feel a little bit like an outsider if it's like us and like just like at our mom's house with our siblings. Like I don't feel like that now, but I feel like I've always a little bit felt like in my friends groups.
Like you're like under a microscope vibes?
Just like I don't really feel like I fit in. Like I just always felt like
fear of not being accepted, or like
just not being liked, not being liked or being enough or being whatever. And it's not anyone's fault. It was my own insecurity. Even with my friends, if they would like for example, I'm just saying of two of my friends, like they would wake up early and go get coffee, and it took a while for that to not hurt my feelings, but they were not hurting my feelings. I don't like to get up early and I don't like to drink coffee. They did, but I would just feel like, why didn't they invite me? Like, I wanted to be able to say no. Yeah. You know, I wanted them to just invite me. So I've just, like, kind of been leaning into and, like, learning to be more independent and not caring about what anyone else thinks, because I've realized that, like, if I'm alone, it's not so scary. I think I always was kind of scared to be, like, left out or alone, but, like, I'm learning to love my alone time and leaning into that a little bit more.
I agree. I think that that's all good stuff. Oh, our last in is this podcast being back and us being on YouTube. Yes. So if you guys are YouTube watchers, I was never a YouTube podcast watcher.
Really?
But it seems like a lot of people are.
Yeah.
You are, Alice.
Oh, okay.
A lot, as in like just the two fucking people I talk to. But yeah, I'm usually just like a Apple Podcast or a Spotify listener. So this is new for me, but I like it because I feel like you can really see us. It's just a different vibe when you could see us talking versus just listening.
It's like a FaceTime a little bit. The podcast is back. We, as you know, like from the last 2 episodes, we had a little bit of a hiatus, but I feel like we're in a really good groove right now. We kind of like have our studio and our routine. And let's not forget why we started this whole podcast. For the big man upstairs, actually our podcast...
You know, some people say big man upstairs is like God.
Oh, well, it's our big man upstairs. We started this podcast a year ago. We recorded it on
yesterday.
The 21st. Yeah. We put it out on the 28th. We recorded it outside of our dad's, like, gravestone. It was windy, and we actually had little mics like this. But it was like, we didn't really know. I think we had an idea of where we were going with this, but I like how it's evolved. And so much has, like, changed this year. But also, so much has changed over the last 3 years. This was, like, the first anniversary of our dad's passing that I felt a little bit less sad.
I agree. And actually I want to touch on that so yesterday, which we will probably get into in the next episode, I had a photo shoot with Fuel Hunt that fell on the same day. Obviously I didn't want to say no to that, and I didn't want to say no because maybe I'm supposed to feel sad, or I'm supposed to, not saying that I didn't, I'm just saying that you feel like it's almost wrong to
have fun or be happy
on a day that also holds so many other emotions that are not like that. Yeah. Of course, Brittany fucking pulls at my heartstrings. I open up Instagram and I see her fucking reel, and I'm literally like, sucker punch. With the voicemails, that one got me. Gets me every time. But then I was like in bed and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna let myself it's not gonna take over, but I'm gonna let myself feel how I'm feeling for a little bit. And then got up and like I didn't have an option but to carry on with my day. And we had like a really great day, and then it followed up by us going somewhere to eat, and we went to this like cute little Italian restaurant. While we were eating, something that I said to Al is that like so Al's mom passed away earlier this year, and it's like when it's like not something I would wish upon anyone, but like you just understand your partner on a different level when like you just get like when your partner has lost a parent too, like they just get it. So he was like, this is your day, like whatever you want to do, like this is your day. And I was like, you know what, like I kind of love that. It's like we can each have our day, and on our day of our parents passing, we have to make it a priority to have a day, to go to get something to eat out, to have a comfort meal, to have just a nice time, maybe shop around, maybe just like enjoy, in making it a priority to enjoy your day instead of like sulking and like falling into this hole that's easy to fall into. So we were like, let's make that a tradition. And it's just like, I feel like adds a lighter energy to a heavy day.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
We're starting that tradition, and I've never had traditions before. We're not like a house. We didn't grow up in a family that had traditions. So like I'm happy to
Tradition.
I'm happy to start
That's as much of a tradition that we had Fiddler on the Roof. I think that my tradition then every year on the 21st is going to be to go to the movies, because going to the movies is like a comfort thing for me. Going to the movies was something I love to do with our dad, because that was something we bonded over. Like he would call me and be like, I need a Brittany pick, and would say I would always pick the best movies and the best shows and everything. So when I was initially in my first grieving like cycle, basically, like I leaned heavy into sitting on this couch, and I didn't want to do anything else except watch shows, and it would make me sad, and I would cry and everything. I had so many moments where I was like, I can't believe my dad's never gonna see like the next season of Grey's Anatomy, or like things like that. Like I was like, he's never gonna know what happened with this. Like that's what I thought about, but that's because we used to watch stuff together like that. I wanted to talk about this on this episode because if you're somebody who is going through grieving like a loved one or a parent, it's so cliche and cheesy to say like it gets better, but like I feel like for the first time this year, I really felt a sense of like peace. And I did cry like throughout the day here and there, like randomly, but not like where it took over the day. Like something would make me a little sad, like mostly from the content I was consuming, like mostly from like looking at pictures and videos and things that do make me a little bit sad. But
you know, when you just have that like moment where you like something makes you sad about daddy, and then you like do like a quiver like cry, and then it's like gone. Yeah, it's like so like I was wondering if that happened to you too.
That happens to me in general with crying, like even with something on TV, like I'll start and then I'll be like, okay,
I'm fine. Like just step out of it. Like but not like forcing myself. It's just like I had like literally a moment. Yeah. And then it's like, okay. Yeah. But being able to do that is really what it is.
I wrote this on the reel that I made. And I like to make things like that because I like to look back on my journey. I like feel like my Instagram is like my video like diary basically. Like I have really documented so many things, and I really like bare my heart there. Like I don't like really, I feel like I'm somebody with like no secrets. Like I feel like everything about me pretty much is on the internet, but I like it because I can look back and see, like I was able to see the mental state I was in 3 years ago and 2 years ago and a year ago to today. And I hope that for people watching this who maybe have lost somebody close to them, for you to know that like your life like goes on and sometimes is better. Like where my life was 3 years ago was horrible, really, comparatively, especially to like where I am now. And like there's this new version of myself that in a way it's like, oh, my dad never knew this person and I wish he was here to like know me like this. But I also don't feel like that. Like I feel like that's what I'm like supposed to feel. But I also really feel like I am this version of myself and this person because my dad is not here and because I have had to connect with him spiritually. I do feel connected to him, and I do feel like he is helping shape the person I am and helping shape the experiences that I have, and he sends opportunities to me that have made me into this version that I'm so much better now. I'm so much happier. I'm healthier. I feel like I'm literally the best version of myself, and I feel like I say this every year, which is kind of like nice because I feel like I'm just getting like better.
I'm better and better.
It is a little bit sad because of course I wish my dad was here to like see see all these things. Like, but when I think about that, I don't think like, oh, I wish my dad was here to like watch our podcast, because I don't even know if he would, but I would love to have him here as a guest. Like, that would be fun. Like, those are the things I really miss, is sharing experiences with him. But I feel like he is here. I feel like we wouldn't be doing this if he was physically here and we were like versions of ourselves. Like, I feel like my character in life when my dad was here was Ira's daughter. Like, so much of my identity was being my dad's child, and like,
well, you really were a very like
obedient like daughter. Like, I really, if my dad like expected something of me, that's what I did. And like, I worked for him, and I like, if I didn't feel good, he would call me and he would be like, well, if you take this, you know, then you'll be able to go into work. And I would just do it because that's what he asked me to do. And I wasn't very good at setting like boundaries. I would cry if I tried to. And that's not his fault. That's my own thing I've had to work on, and I'm still working on. I'm still like that. I for some reason, like, there's a lot of other people's expectations of me like really weigh on me heavily for some reason. I think I have to do a deep dive into that part of my soul. More days than not, we're like just talking about our dad or talking to our dad, then we're sitting around like crying, sad that he's not here. Like, it doesn't feel like he's not here.
No.
Feels like he's in Florida.
That's what I said the other day. And I was like, I don't know if that's like toxic of me, or not toxic, or if it's like unhealthy. But I really don't, like, when I think about him, I don't think like he's not here. Yeah. I just feel like he is not here.
Yeah.
But I'm not even saying that in like a juju sort of way. I really just don't think of him as like gone. I just feel like I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just a part of grieving, or if that's just like going to be my perception of this all along. But
well, this is what I am actually excited to share this on the podcast. This is how I view, I kind of feel like I've developed this since my dad has been gone. So it's a little bit of like a coping mechanism, but it's also like just what I believe. And I believe that Earth and like the human experience is one like little facet of life as a whole. And the way that I picture this is that we are all like souls. I mean, we all know that, but I picture us as like these souls, this little like floating ball of like energy, and that like somewhere in the abyss, our souls are tied. And like, I'm not just coming up with this. This is like things that I've learned from listening to other podcasts and other people. So the way that I view it is that like, we're all these souls, and that our souls are tied together. So like, we're here as a family because like we are like a unit. Our souls are a unit. And every time you come to Earth or through life, like, you can have different pairings. Like, we're sisters in this life, but in a different life, like, we could be mother-daughter, or
I feel like that might be true.
Or this is what I believe, or like, I could have been your dog, or like
no, not my dog. I feel like you could have been my mom.
There's something about Winnie that I think she was like a Taylor Swift in her life. No joke. If I start singing, like, if I sing anything, or if there's music, like, she gets so excited, like, I think she was a singer. Like, I think she was a famous singer. And there's just something about that I feel so strongly that I wouldn't think it's that strong. I wouldn't believe that so strongly if it wasn't true.
I mean, yeah, to share that.
So anyway, this is what I think. So our souls are all connected and tied. And I think that this is why sometimes it's like not easy, but like I've definitively been able to like say like this person doesn't belong in my life because like we're clashing too much. Like our souls don't mesh.
Yeah.
We're almost like opposites. Like we're magnets. Like magnets opposing. And I think it's just because we're not supposed, like we might have gotten put in the same friend circle or family circle, but like we weren't really supposed to. It's just because we're tied to somebody who that person's tied to. So like, for example, like I'm just going to say, like, if you are best friends with Sally and Sally is best friends with Lucy, and you and Lucy were in the same friend group, but you're like, I cared about this person was in my life, we have all these shared memories, but like after 10 years, it's just not really working. It's like you might only really be connected because of Sally, and your soul's connected to Sally and her soul's connected to Sally, and you just
or maybe Sally served her Sally, fuck no, Lucy. Maybe Lucy, was Lucy the friend that was?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe Lucy served her purpose.
Yeah, she taught you whatever you needed to learn. Yes.
Okay, don't like dismiss what I'm going to say. Because I think that's important, that some people are in your life for different seasons and different reasons, and that's a big thing. And I think that you learn stuff from each person that's in your life. So even if you feel like right now, the version of yourself is like, I'm repulsed by this person. Mm-hmm. The thought of them, the idea of them literally makes me sick. I don't want to hear their name. Mm-hmm. Even if there is a person in your life that you were like close with at one point, but that's how you feel about them now, it's like, that's okay. But like, it doesn't mean that I feel like I have a hard time accepting that like they were even my friend or they were even anything to me at one point because of how I feel about them now.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's okay because you had an open heart, you know, had a friendship with them or whatever it was, and they served their purpose for that version of you. Mm-hmm. But if you are evolving as a human being, you can't expect to like stay the same person. Right. So like if you're evolving and this person isn't, or they're evolving in another direction and it's just not meshing well, like it's okay to kind of let go of that. And the more you try to keep it together, I feel like the harder sometimes we could really go into this on another episode. Yeah. This is like a whole topic in itself, but it can, sometimes you're trying so hard to keep it together because you feel like you're, you know, this person to me. I feel like there's been so many times where I've called you up and I've said like this, I've just been like venting to you about stuff and you're like, I mean, how many times are you going to try to do something, Talia, before you just realize that, like, this person or whatever isn't meant to be in your life, and, like, the universe is kind of showing you over and over that, like, no matter what you do differently, it doesn't matter. This person isn't meant to be in your life.
Right. Like, some people are just not, like, there's nothing you can do. There's no conversation to be had. Like, some people are just not.
Yeah. And even if you have the conversations, like, that doesn't mean that it's going to, you don't need closure. Like, you don't need any of that anymore. Like, that's been debunked. Your closure is something you find within yourself. It's not something you're going to receive from anybody else.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so back to my theory, though, and the reason why I think has helped me through the grieving process is that, for me, I feel like my dad, and, like, this also helped me, like, if you're somebody who works for your family, like, we worked for our dad, and I worked with my dad for, I think, like, 8 years alongside him. And a lot of my identity as being, like, a good daughter was being, like, an employee. So I feel like a big part of after my dad passed away was figuring out like the role that I was going to play and continue to play as like his employee, even though he wasn't here anymore as my boss. I still had like these expectations of him. And you might feel this way just about other things with your parents and your family members in your family. So for us, that was like a big part of our dynamic and like how I felt like I wanted to make him proud in just our day-to-day life. Part of my process in my grieving was learning how to be, like, learning that I don't have to continue to be the version of myself that I was for his life. Like, I'm so happy that when my dad was here, I was able to be the character that he wanted me to be. But now that his story here on Earth came to a close and a conclusion, I'm so happy that he got to have exactly what he wanted. Like, he wanted his whole family to be involved in his business. He wanted everybody to be like whatever his story was.
When he passed away, at the time in which he passed away, everything he had wanted was set.
Right.
So even if things have changed after the fact, like, he still got what he desired.
Right. So I feel like now with like my dad's soul, he's gone back up to the abyss and he is still connected to and tethered to our souls. And like I think that's why we feel so connected to him, because that will never go away in whatever lifetime and experience, human or otherwise, that like we don't know what there is out there. So like if, you know, I feel like we will always be a part of each other's stories, however they look. And I just think that, like, it's helpful in me being able to now step into, like, Brittany being the main character and me being able to, like, really do the things that feel right for me, because I was able to play that role in his story, but now I'm going to, you know, kind of come into my own.
Yeah. I feel like it's so interesting. Couple things. Honestly, I forgot the first thing I but it's interesting, like, the roles that you play for your parents, too, which is, like, kind of a completely separate topic. But, like, thinking of, like, even though we were both his kids, the daughter that you were versus the daughter that I was. And it's just, like, I mean, you were, like, a great, not that I wasn't a good daughter, but it's, like, I feel like I was very challenging to him. I can't say I agree. Even though we had the same dad and everything like that, I can't say that I agree that I felt this, like, this need to, like, be what the version he wanted me to be. I felt as though I had to teach him that, like, I can be my own version of myself. And that's where we kind of butt heads a lot, because I wasn't as, like, whatever he wanted,
You're more confrontational than me also, though. Like, I couldn't have that conversation with him, I think.
I think that might be, like, oldest sibling vibes.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like, that...
Definitely. The dynamic of being, like, we have a 6 year
It was your first time, like...
Our
there was many kids in between us.
Yes.
So many, too.
I don't believe that we're just here and then we die and then, like, that's it. Like, I just know that there's more. And... I don't know, it's given me a sense of peace. So maybe it will give some of you guys a sense of peace too if you can kind of like subscribe to that theory. Because it really is just all theory. I mean, we don't really know, but that's what feels right for me. Like, ever since I heard somebody else say that, it just made sense to me. And like, I just think, like, even with our dogs, like, there's something about this dog that is like human-like. You know, I've had 5 dogs and they're all different. And there's just something about Winnie that I'm like, it was a human being at one point, and she's a dog now, but, like, she's so human-like. So, yeah. So that's really all. But I have to say, the 3-year mark, this was the most, like, normal I have felt, and I'm just so happy, like, as time has gone on, there's been such an evolution of, like, our relationships with, like, our family members, like, especially, like, with our mom. I feel like I have the best relationship with my mom at this chapter in my life than I ever have in my whole life. And I think that's also part of, like, the dynamic of, like, our dad isn't here and we only have one parent to turn to, and there's no, like, this versus that or anything like that. Like, we've all had to grow, and same thing with our siblings.
And I give her a lot of credit too, because that can be a lot to step into, and not having
like a partner to rely on.
Somebody else to help balance it out or, like, have your back. It's kind of just you, and it's having hard conversations, and she's had the hard conversations, and she's I think really evolved into the best version of herself, even though I know it's been hard for her.
Yeah, but I feel like she is, like, the best mom she's ever been now. And so that has been, like, a great evolution, and
understanding that it's okay to feel this way, and it's okay to feel like you don't have to feel guilty if you're starting to feel better, sort of thing. And some days might feel like it's jumps you back, but, you know, it's all a learning process. I feel like it's one of those things that, like, you can't really understand it until you go through it. Something that me and Al were talking about too yesterday. He was like, I just feel like it's so much, like, I did, like, before my mom passed away, like, he was like, I knew that, like, I was sad for you, but, like, now I, like, feel it in my soul that, like, I know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
So
I was that person. Like, Tyler's dad passed away, and, like, I definitely didn't understand the gravity of the feeling until I went through it myself. And also, everybody's relationship with their parents is different, so it's going to be different for everybody. But I think just, like, making like, if you're somebody who's listening who you haven't been through this, like, you know, create space for your friends. And, like, every person that reached out to me yesterday, it meant a lot. And guess what? As the years go on, less and less people reach out. But for the people who do continue to reach out, it means so much. And it just shows who you should prioritize in your life and who thinks of you. And it's so easy to send a text message to somebody. So don't feel like, is this going to be awkward? I don't want to bring something up if it's going to make them sad. I think that people like to feel supported and know that people care for them. And as somebody who has been on this side of grieving and going through this, like, it can feel like a burden to continue to put your feelings and your sadness about this on people, because everybody's life goes on, and you don't want to always be like the sad friend or, you know, whatever. But I think like making space for your friends and checking in on them and not stopping after the first month or the first 3 months or the first year is really important. So just know that like your role in everyone's life and your soul connection to your friends and everything, like, there's a purpose for that connection. And if you're feeling like, oh, maybe I should reach out to them, just do it, because it's going to make you feel
There's a reason
warm.
that you're feeling that feeling.
Yeah. So I think that's a good way to round out the episode.
Things up.
Happy 1 year to us. And hopefully there'll be many more years to come. And I wonder how much our podcast is going to evolve by next year this time.
I might have purple hair.
Maybe we'll have a real studio.
Or
that would be fun.
You'll have a baby.
Could be. Probably not have one yet. Maybe I'll be pregnant.
That'd be crazy.
Have one, I'd have to get pregnant like now. So
Stuff happens.
I don't know. It's all part of the Brittany Neerman main character story. It's like, is she on the journey for that? We'll have to find out in the next episode.
Yep.
Oh, he's my little baby.
She got offended.
Oh.
All right, guys. Signing off. We will see you next week.
See you next week.
Ta-ta for now.